What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching TF4 Talk. This is just a web series where we're talking about Transformers Age of Extinction. This is episode number 13, and we're going to talk about favorite action sequences. We're going to rank them from 10 to number 1. But before I do that, I posted a photo on Facebook, actually on Twitter also, and that was a photo of this, and I asked you guys to guess what it is. Okay, so in Japan they got a lot of really crazy products over there, and they had a product tie-in with Transformers. I want you guys to guess what this thing is. Okay, there's two packages, a lighter package and then a silver package. Alright, so what is it? Well, I have the answer right now. Okay, the larger light colored package is fried chicken. The silver smaller package is a wet nap. And there you have it. If you guessed wet nap or napkin, then you were correct. But the larger one is fried chicken. So there you have it. That's what's happening right now in Japan, and that is they're having their product tie-ins with Transformers Age of Extinction, because the premiere just happened recently, but the movie actually comes out on August 8th, okay? They're the second last country to get Transformers Age of Extinction. Spain also gets it on August 8th, and then Venezuela gets it on August 22nd. Can you believe that? That's like a long time to wait, alright? Anyways, what we're here to talk about in this episode is action sequences, and I'm going to rank my favorite action sequences to least favorite to most favorite, okay? And, well, you know what? I think I should mention what the action sequences are first, and then I'm going to rank them, okay? So let's just start in order, in chronological order, in order of occurrence, okay? So we're gonna start off with, well, we start off with Ratchet's death, okay? And then next we move on to the breakout battle / the Texas chase, and then it's the KSI raid, and then there's a sequence called which I like to call Chicago chase, which is where Galvatron gets unleashed, and then he chases the Autobots down with Stinger. Then next is Lockdown Ship, everything that takes place in Lockdown Ship. Then there's the Chicago drone ship chase, and then there's the there's the Hong Kong battle. But the Hong Kong action sequence is actually divided into several pieces. Okay, it's not just the Hong Kong battle as a whole. There are sections. Okay, so there's the Hong Kong battle, which is which I'm calling Bumblebee and Hound versus the prototypes. Okay, so that's one section alone. Then there's Taming Grimlock. Okay, we know what that scene is. That's when we get introduced to the Dinobots for the very first time, and then Optimus has to establish dominance so that he can control them and then ride Grimlock and the rest of the Dinobots. All right. And then right after that, there's the Dinobot Charge, which also consists of Drift versus the prototypes, you know, on the monorail track, and Bumblebee versus Stinger on Strafe while they're flying around. All right, so that's Dinobot Charge. Okay, and then there's the Lockdown Ship Suckage. Okay, that's when Lockdown's night ships uses its primary weapon, where it sucks up all the stuff and drops everything back down. Okay, and finally, the last sequence is Optimus Prime versus Lockdown. This would be a boss battle. Typically, in all the Transformers films, you'd have a boss battle where Optimus Prime is going up the big bad dude. You know what I'm saying? So in total, there are 11 sequences. Now, this is a top 10 list, so one of them is not going to make the cut, and I'm going to let you know what that is after I've given you the top 10 list. Okay? So we're going to start off with number 10. Okay? This would be my second least favorite, because the one that gets knocked out would be my least favorite, which I don't really care a lot about, okay? So, number 10 is Bumblebee and Hound versus the prototypes, okay? And some of you guys probably thinking, are you out of your mind? That was awesome, okay? Well, Bumblebee and Hound versus prototypes is probably one of the most incohesive action sequences ever. It doesn't act, I mean, in the Transformers franchise, it doesn't have like a beginning, middle, and end. It's just a Bumblebee and Hound just shooting, and then prototypes just shooting. And then we get a lot of close-ups of Hound shooting, but most of the time we don't really see what he's shooting at. You remember the very first shot when he fired the chain gun at a prototype? Even right when the bullet hits, it cuts to the humans, okay? We don't even see the bullets connect with the targets. And I just feel like it's just another version of the Egypt battle where you just see Autobots just shooting blindly off screen, out of the frame. So you know what? For the most part, I really liked when Hound was just almost about to die, when he was just running out of bullets, mainly because it started getting like getting to be a really heroic and meaningful death. But most of the time, Bumblebee was not even there. Like, he wasn't even there. He just fired a couple rockets, provided a little bit of support, but then after that, it was all Hound. All right, so that's number 10. Number 9 is Lockdown Ship Suckage. Okay. Now, this was actually a pretty intense sequence. A lot of people, there's some people who I talked to who said that they didn't care about it. They said that it was just too, it was long and it was just too much. And it's not really a Transformers action sequence. It was just a ship sucking up debris, okay, and then dropping it down. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool because it was something different. I thought it was cool because there was a lot of destruction, and this destruction was actually on a very grand scale. So I thought it was pretty cool. It's definitely something different that hasn't been done for the franchise. And also, what's really great is when the ship starts sucking up all the Dinobots and Optimus has to find a way to stop that from happening. So you know what he does? He fires this gun, his cannon, at the ship, and then it just explodes, and it was so cool, alright? And then the Dinobots almost got sucked up, and you know, that's the first time we actually saw the Dinobots are actually vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you know, sure, Optimus slapped them, but the prototypes weren't able to do anything. So Lockdown Ship was able to actually do some damage. And I thought that was pretty cool to show that the Dinobots aren't actually vulnerable. They do have weaknesses. So that is good to know that they're not invincible. All right? Because if they're invincible, then there's no point in having them in there. Because, you know, who cares about characters that, you know, that can't even, that can't get hurt? You know, they're invincible, right? Too strong. They're overpowered, all right? Number 8 is Ratchet's death, okay? This was actually a pretty decent sequence. I actually like this sequence because it was probably the best death sequence in all of the Transformers films. We had Ratchet fighting for his life, and he's a medic, and he was almost begging for his life, but Lockdown just ruthlessly and brutally killed and slaughtered Ratchet, and it was a pretty good death sequence. So that's number 8 for you. Number 7 is Lockdown Ship, specifically inside Lockdown Ship. Now, this sequence is a all humans action sequence. Okay, it's really just Cade and Shane. You know, Cade with his gunblade shooting at the minions. And those rolling thingies, right? And they're fighting the way through the ship. The reason why I like this like this sequence, is because it looks so great in IMAX 3D, because it's a completely CG environment, so that you feel like so immersed in this alien environment. Is really, really cool. And I also like the little scenes with the Autobots when they're there. It's very few, but when they're there, it's really, really cool. And we actually got to learn a lot about the history of the ship and what its purpose was. So very, very cool. I thought that was a pretty cool sequence. Number 6 is the Dinobot charge, starting with when you see this when you see the Dinobots just charging into Hong Kong, right inside the city. And then they're taking out all these prototypes. They're doing lots of damage. Grimlock with his fire breath. A Scorn, he jumps up, and then he has his spikes land on the prototypes and impales them. And you know, Strafe is flying around, and you know, there's a lot of really great moments in the Dinobots charge sequence. It's a moment that we've all been waiting for as fans. So very, very cool. All right. So number 6 for you. Number 5 is Breakout Battle, also known as the Texas Chase. Now, I thought this was really cool because it was a great car chase sequence, and it had little bits of Transformers here and there with Optimus Prime and you know, and Lockdown in there. They got thrown into the mix. And what's really cool is that we got to see Lockdown's grenade for the very first time, and the effects of the grenade, which was really, really mind-blowingly awesome with that explosions, right? But I actually love the chase sequence where the cemetery wind, where we're chasing Shane in his car. I mean, the whole family in his car. I thought that was great because, I mean, sure, it's a human sequence, but it was a great car chase. It was a really great car chase. He's shooting guns at them, and then he's driving through buildings. So, driving very recklessly. It really shows off Shane's character at his best, and probably the best part about his character in the entire movie. All right, so pretty cool. Number 4 is boss battle, Optimus versus Lockdown. I thought this was a great fight. This fight was a fight where it's a true mono fight. All right. In the first film, it wasn't even really a fight. It was just a bunch of scenes where Optimus was getting his ass kicked. In the second film, we got the force battle. It was great. It was a really, really great sequence, but it was like Optimus versus 3 Decepticons, all right? So that's not fair, all right? And then when he fought the Fallen, he was totally overpowered. It was like the Fallen didn't stand a chance. The Fallen and Megatron didn't stand a chance. In the third one, he fought Sentinel Prime, all right? But you know what? He's fighting Sentinel Prime with like little bits of the Autobots thrown in there, like fighting Sentinel Prime as well, and then humans are also shooting at Sentinel Prime, and then the drone ships are shooting at Optimus. So it wasn't a mono battle, okay? This is full on Optimus versus Lockdown, no distractions, except for maybe Cade helped them out a little bit, but still, for the most part, it was Optimus versus Lockdown, and Lockdown, I didn't expect him to be like such a great fighter. He's a really, really good fighter, and he totally owns Optimus. Like that was a really, really good fight. It's mainly because Optimus, you think that he's totally capable of doing some serious damage, but he's not. Lockdown is just too skilled as a fighter, and he owns him. So great sequence, all right? Really, really great fight scene, and Lockdown's death was also just pure ownage. That was like perfect, okay? So I really, really like that sequence, and I don't think there's anything that I would do to improve that scene. I think the Lockdown and Optimus fight is very great. I mean, sure, they can make it a little bit longer, but you know what? For the most part, it was great, all right? Number 3 is Taming Grimlock. Oh my god. What an amazing scene. Okay, that was a great scene. And that scene would only work with Steve Jablonsky's score. Had it, like, not had his score in there, or a different type of song, it would have felt totally different. The way that scene played out, it was perfect. The score, the introduction of the Dinobots, Optimus fighting Grimlock for a very brief moment, Grimlock transforming. Oh man, it was great. And you know what? It is something completely new. It's something that we haven't seen before. So therefore, I felt that this is something that was very, very special in its own way. All right? Number 2 is KSI Raid. Okay? When's the last time you saw Autobots run inside a building on a mission? I've never seen anything like that. Like, I saw Autobots run with humans in Chicago. All right? But they were in the background, okay? In the foreground, it was the humans, okay? And essentially, it was a human action sequence with Autobots in the background firing. But in the KSI raid, these Autobots were on a mission. We know where they were going, and we knew what they were trying to achieve, okay? And when they were running inside the building, all of them, you know, like, that was something very, very unique, because we've never seen anything like that. They're going up against humans, okay? That is something different, okay? And there's emotion in there. Optimus is pissed. And the other Autobots are loyal to him, so therefore they feel his pain too. So really, really great sequence. Even though it's very short-lived and nobody got owned, like nobody died in there, there was no Decepticon casualties and nobody got injured, it was still a great sequence, even though all they did was really run inside a building, and then Bumblebee and Drift rescued Cade. Alright, so very, very cool. Number 1, out of the entire film, the 2 hours and 40 minutes, my favorite action sequence is the Chicago drone ship chase. Okay, Michael Bay has done a lot of similar types of action sequences in all 3 of the films. We had a lot of nameless Decepticon battles where it's just Autobots versus armies of Decepticons. We've had car chases, all right? with the Dark of the Moon highway chase being the best card chase. So we didn't want to give us something like that to outdo the freeway chase. What he gave us instead is something that we've never seen before, and that is an aerial chase sequence, like a full sequence. I'm not talking about Starscream, you know, like using like 10 seconds to just like swipe at a couple of raptors. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a sequence that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, okay? Crosshairs hijacked the drone ship to save Bumblebee and the humans. Then they had to avoid drone ships, and then Bumblebee crashes it so that they can get back on the ground. Beginning, middle, and end. One of the more cohesive action sequences where it does serve a purpose. Okay, they're trying to escape. Okay, so definitely it's not action for the sake of action. It is a great action sequences. It's a great action sequence, and it's very, very exciting. Very exciting. The whole time I was like this, because I just felt that this is something new. This is something that is exciting, and this is something that we've never seen before. All right, and we get to see Crosshairs pilot a drone ship, and then we got the Crosshairs trying to teach the humans how to use the ship. We have Bumblebee using his harpoon and tow cable, picking up a ship and slamming it into a drone ship. We got Crosshairs jumping off the ship, deploying his parachutes, and then just unleashing hell on drone ships with his double guns. Very, very cool. And then it's just ended off with this comedic sequence where Mark Wahlberg drinks a Bud Light and slams it on the ground. Very, very funny. Great action sequence. My favorite action sequence in the entire film. Now, there's only one thing that I could have hoped, I wished for, and that is to have Crosshairs land on the ground with his parachute, okay? And then his parachutes hit the ground, and then suddenly he transforms to a Corvette and drives off. I think that would have been great. I think it would have been great if Crosshairs, you know, voiced by John DiMaggio, would have said, "All right, excuse me, coming through, okay, don't mind me, parachute," you know. If he would have said that to humans that are looking at him, right, and then he just transforms and drives off and then unhooks his parachute, that would have been great. That would have been like a complete action sequence. Like, because we just assumed that, okay, Crosshairs is out there, he's still firing at drone ships, but we don't get to see it because he only did that for like 4 seconds, right? It was a very short moment. It was a great moment, but I would have liked to see where that sequence concluded for Crosshairs. So like I said, fall down on the ground, unhook the parachutes, drive off, transform and drive off. Would have been a great ending to that sequence. In fact, what would have been cool is if Crosshairs picked up the humans with Bumblebee, and then he drove off together. That would have been great, all right? But anyways, for the most part, that sequence is really awesome. It's something new. It's something we've never seen before, and it was very, very exciting. And that one, the Chicago drone ship chase, is my favorite action sequence out of all the action sequences in the entire movie. Now, you're probably wondering, which action sequence out of the 11 got kicked out? Well, that would be the Chicago chase. You know, when they left KSI, the Autobots were on a freeway, and then KSI sent Galvatron and Stinger after them for like a test run, and then we get introduced to Galvatron. Galvatron's fighting with Optimus, and then Lockdown shoots him. You know what? I felt that sequence really didn't do a whole lot for me. The only great part about it was Optimus getting shot at, and also the introduction of Galvatron with Frank Welker's voice. That part was great, but as an action sequence, the Autobots don't even transform. And when they do transform, Optimus and Bumblebee transform, and they do something in the air to rescue the humans. That's something that we've kind of seen something like that before. We've seen that done in Transformers Dark of the Moon. We've also seen a lot of slow motion shots before. I mean, you know, it wasn't something that blew me away when they did that. And then Optimus Prime doesn't even we don't even see him transform back to a truck. We just see him driving off and he's already transformed. All right, it wasn't a complete action sequence. It was a money shot, but you know what? Didn't do a whole lot for me. Galvatron spent more time as a truck than he did as a robot. And Stinger spent his entire time in the chase as a Pagani Huayra. He never actually transforms until you get to Hong Kong. And all they were really doing was shooting missiles, and it's an unlimited supply of missiles. They just keep on churning them out. And then guess what? Where are the Autobots? They just drive off, and they don't even help out Optimus in his time of need. So that sequence, while it was pretty cool, pretty exciting, it didn't feel like it made a whole lot of sense to me. All right, it really just feels like it was just there for the sake of having action. All right, so there you have it. I've named 11 sequences. I've ranked 10 of them from bottom to top, with the top one being my most favorite. Which one is yours? I'm going to list them again, okay, in the order that they occur. Ratchet's Death, Breakout Battle, KSI Raid, Chicago Chase, Lockdown Ship, Chicago Drone Ship Chase, Bumblebee and Hound vs. Prototypes, Taming Grimlock, Dinobot Charge, Lockdown Ship Suckage, and Optimus Prime vs. Lockdown. There you have it. That's 11 sequences. Rank them, and then I'm going to read your comments, and then I'm going to see where they rank for you. And there you have it. That's all I got to say in this video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, @RaginNation. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. I stand for. Question number 3. Where was the Trump-Chi E-Jet first seen? Question